Hey, what's going on, Exiles? Belton here. I just wanted to make a quick video kind of recapping what I discussed in extent over stream yesterday. This past week, there's been a lot coming out about TFT, the mistreatment of different streamers and people within the community. As well, there have been some turning points that we've had on the evidentiary side of things with respect to the RMT side of TFT, how they're breaking terms of service. And I'm going to present my best case here to you guys that I think beyond a shadow of a doubt will prove that they are guilty of everything that I have been saying for the past 2 years, as well as obviously the mistreatment of the community, and on top of all the other issues that have been raised this week so prominently on Reddit. I put this together in a slideshow this time. I'm not going to be jumping around a lot. It's going to be rather concise. And I'm going to provide a link below down in the description if you want to watch the whole VOD from yesterday. It's a roughly 2-hour discussion going into a lot of these things in greater detail. If I'm being honest, at the end of that video, like there were probably 1,200 people in there, and people were like beyond a shadow of a doubt. Every single person watching that was essentially exonerating, I suppose, myself for validating the claims I've been making over the past year, and I got a little bit overwhelmed by it. It's been pretty trying, some of the stuff I had to go through over the past couple of years. So I got a little bit emotional at the end and just kind of had to end my stream. I'm going to be taking a few days away from Path of Exile and just kind of let this stuff cool out over the community. But I did promise I would post this video and just provide my best evidence here. So this is only going to be about a 10 or 15 minute video. The link will be below with all the extreme, the very detailed stuff. And I'm going to be taking a few days away from YouTube and from the game and from Reddit and all that stuff, just to kind of get my head straight and let the chips fall as they will. But just followed through the promise here, so hopefully you guys are convinced by the end of this. So I present to you the trials of the Forbidden Trove. So let's establish first off the motive, the means, and the opportunity. The motive for them being real-world financial gain. The means under ability. They have a deep understanding of the mirror surface market with a high-level grasp on the endgame of Path of Exile. The tools to provide means. They have their Discord server, the Forbidden Trove, and third-party RMT websites. Opportunity. They have a high-demand market, the RMT market, a high capacity for obfuscation, and a third-party communication tool, meaning it's very difficult to track actual, conversations in game. Obviously not going to discuss them there. Plausible deniability, ample opportunity provided from retailers. I myself probably get emailed 5 times a week or hit up on Discord 5 times a week by RMT websites asking to either sell them currency or to advertise with them. It is not very difficult to get in touch with these people if you want to. Next point, and I've mentioned this several times in the past, but here it is just neatly wrapped up. We also have first-hand witness testimony, or you might refer to this as going state's witness in the real world. This is Quiddy. So this league currently, we had Kaiba craft the best Fizbo, the league, a free Fizbo, the league, which was also 61. The previous league, Sushi crafted 161. The previous league, I crafted 161, which is also the best bow in standard. So that means the past 3 leagues and in standard, TFT has lost access to their biggest currency maker. And the league prior to that, they had the best bow, and it was sold to them by Quiddy and by Batchest, RMT to them when I say sold. So that accounts for the previous 4 leagues. And this is Quiddy going on the record here. I'll read it out loud in case the writing is hard to see for anyone who's on mobile. About how he not only RMT'd the bows and stuff to them, but how he actually also emailed GGG with a video of doing so, telling them that they RMT'd. And not only did GGG not ban or take any action against TFT, they didn't even ban Quiddy when he emailed support and told them he literally RMT'd it. So I don't want to make any implications from that, but it is definitely a little questionable. So here's conversation. Quiddy, my evidence I gave them last year was about as bad as it gets. Besides literally live streaming RMT directly to their account, LOL. I don't know why GGG won't take any action, but it's certainly not a lack of evidence. Probably other factors at play, but we don't know what about. GGG saw it. I messaged the video to support them, then I RMT'd, gave Discord screenshots on video, circumstantially supporting I had the mirror Fizbo, and then TFT had it one day after, and the screenshots line up. I saw the views go up on the privated video, and they saw it 100%. Why they won't take action considering that and all the other circumstantial stuff. Funny thing is, I didn't even get banned. I literally RMT'd, admitted it, and told them to go check my logs. I think they're either doing something like that or they just don't want to touch it at all. LOL. Now, this is probably the biggest thing that is new in this case that I'm kind of excited to show to you guys here. Over the past 7 months, one of the members of my Discord, who is more apt at the technological side of things, has been assembling essentially a forensic accounting of all the activities of the TFT Discord. And this is probably the biggest and most substantive point of evidence that I can bring here. We have a video that I'm now going to show you guys discussing this, but essentially, if you take a look at this here, view slideshow, sorry. What we've got here are these large circles representing individuals, with each one of these these smaller circles representing an item or an event, and then tracking it using this is all done legally, by the way. This is just using the API and looking at forum posts, things like that. We have been able to connect the relationship of certain items between different users, different banned accounts, how those items transfer between different people, and over tens of thousands of different occurrences. Each one of these longer lines connecting an event or as a transfer of an item or an interaction between two people, and this counts for not only TFT itself, but Janubu, the two crafters, Reply and Plushies, Amigo Boys, the co-founder, as well as some other associates there, and as well as most of their mirror items. And not only that, if you can click onto the items themselves, it'll show a history, known associates. It really is an incredible piece of work, and I'm very grateful for Blackmore for doing that. If you want to discuss the more technical side of these things with these guys, I will also put a link to my Discord below. My aptitude is obviously on the mirror crafting side of things and putting context in the game. If you watch the VOD, the full VOD yesterday, you will be able to see. I go onto Discord with a friend of mine who is very tech savvy, not the person who put the thing together, just to show that there's no bias. And he explains how it's done. It was made in a program called Obsidian, I believe. And throughout the video, he points to different things about how the data works. And then because the person who I'm speaking with doesn't necessarily know who the names of the people are in game or any of the context, throughout the video, I'll interrupt him, just pause him for a second, say, okay, here's who this person is. That's what this guy does, blah, blah, blah. So that's what this evidence shows. And I think the whole picture that paints is pretty crazy. I'm going to show you guys a little snippet from that video here. Again, the totality of it is about 2 hours long. So if you are to watch the VOD, it starts about halfway through in terms of actually getting into it. For the first half of the VOD, I'm actually just trying to craft, I think, a thumbnail while the guys are getting their side of things set up. Yeah, you can just check that out real quick here. So we're going to watch we'll watch part of that video right now, just to give you an idea of what we get into.
Right. So this data is essentially, if you've seen the Always Sunny meme of the guy connecting thumbtacks with
data, just stick to the data, stick to the data.
Yes, that's what this is. So essentially, this is just a connection of every single piece of data. If you scroll in here, you can see it's every single mirror item that TFT owns and similar things. These connect between people who have touched the item and similar things, and it'll connect so that everyone can see anything that is connected to a particular item, a particular event, anything like that. So if we look, for example, at this morbid iridescent synthesized searching eye jewel, this is a mirror item. It is linked to Janebu for.
Sorry, we're gonna have to start it here. Apparently, it's not legible on stream. Are you able to zoom in further? And for people, sure. Am I able to get rid of the? Does anyone? I don't know how to even do this. Am I able to hide callers? Oh, hide members. There we go. All right, maybe that's easier now. All right, go ahead.
Can this be seen now?
Yeah, you're good. I think so.
Okay. So this particular item, and I can open it in a separate tab here. This is one mirror item. It is currently, and if you look in this has all the data about it. First of all, it has all the stats, critical strike multiplier, etc., right? And it has the current owner. I'll show you what this link does in a second here. But this is the current owner who theoretically currently has the item. It's who it's listed under the mirror shop and similar things. This also shows that it's marked in the mirror shop for TFT specifically. This is in TFT's mirror shop right now. This, however, down here we have the data here. Apparently this item is also listed on the Amigo Boys' personal shop, as well as the Forbidden Trove official website.
Sorry, one sec. For some context, Amigo Boys, if you're from Route 2 stream, I mentioned this the other day. TFT was originally founded by Varga and Amigo. Amigo is the one that I was saying that I've known for a long time back in the day. Varga started the game later. His account, Varga, was banned, and he now goes by Janubu. So when you see the name of the Amigo Boys, it's the co-founder of TFT. Okay, continue.
Yes. And so this says that it's on both the Amigo Boys and Plushies. Now, what these links are, these will take you to their personal profile that we have listed in here. So if I go into Plushies...
Sorry, one more context. For TFT, right? If you've watched any of the videos I have before, or if you go to their website, Plushies and Reply are the two people who actually craft TFT's items. So the shop, as you're probably aware, warehouses, if you craft a mirror item and you want to give it to TFT, they'll put it onto their shop and they'll take a percentage cut of it. The people who actually craft TFT's items, it's not Janubu, it's a guy named Reply and Plushies. If you look here, this is just for League items, right? So I'm going to scroll through here and we're looking for the name Plushies, all right? There are 18 of their items right here are from Plushies. All right, so plushies, and this is just from League. So there's just a little snippet of the video there, guys. You can see, if we were to rewind a sec here, the video goes on like that, where we'll discover the things. There are individual person profiles, item profiles, the transfer of items between different people discussed throughout. If you look at the extent of the map there are literally hundreds of thousands of connections conducted over a long period. 1 point of evidence, circumstantial, 2 points of evidence, little suspect, 40 points of evidence, and connections. I think any reasonable person in any jury in this world would be willing to consider that beyond a reasonable doubt. At a certain point, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you. There are also certain elements discussed in this video that show a variety of different banned accounts and bot accounts that will have transfers between certain crafters, and it'll also show how that item has then moved from one crafter to a different account as a way to kind of wash the items, so to speak. So again, I will link the VOD. Oops, sorry, the wrong thing removed there. I will link the VOD from yesterday's stream below if you're interested in watching that. I believe around the 2 hour mark. It's a 4 hour VOD, 4 hours and 18 minutes. I believe around the 2 hour mark is when we start getting into that. I apologize that it's not more concise, but you could just sort of scroll through there. Although this is really, I'm going to cover all the major points here. That would be a much deeper dive. It also goes into some of the personal attacks they make. Also it implicates Live Jamie, the moderator from Reddit. We go over some screenshots, some private DMs, some DMs from Live Jamie, some a viewing of screenshots, receipts. We got them all. So if you're interested in a deeper dive on this topic, go ahead and check that out. The next point, we're going to talk about racketeering or laundering. So racketeering, part of a criminal organization, basically money made through illicit means. Right here, I'm going to prove that through multiple instances. Here we have Janubu posting a new mirror item to their shop, their best Omni ring. You can see that it is owned by Rage Dice. Rage Dice, who goes by Rage Dice being his handle, his nickname, but his handle being Best Panda NZ number 2021. All right, he is one of the higher level members of TFT. He has that trusted rank, and he was put into their mirror shopping crafters. He has crafted numerous one of the mirror items. You can then see on the bottom right here, Best Panda NZ on the D2JSP forums, with want to buy divine orbs at 60 forum gold each, mirrors at 15,000 forum gold each. I need loads, only in bulks of 100 plus. So Mr. Best Panda NZ, who is buying hundreds of mirrors at a time on a website that facilitates third party, you can buy forum gold with real money on D2JSP. You can also use currency from other games, but any form of it is illegal within the terms of service of GGG, which has been clearly stated by GGG. And we're going to look at the dates here. Okay. We've got on January 28th and then the next day. It's the dates line up. You've got the thing, January 3rd. Okay, there we go. This post was edited by Best Panda. Sorry, I was just looking for the date there. This post was edited by Best Panda on January 3rd. And then we look here on January 4th. We've got, all of a sudden, 1 day after a post asking for hundreds of mirrors on a third-party RMT site, we've got a mirror item posted by Janubu. Do they get rid of Best Panda? Sure, but guess what? Guess who still keeps the item? These guys. Next case. Their most lucrative item that they have in the game, still worse than Low Thunder. They can't even cheat like winners. Ownership by Janadu. Fee, 500 divines. I've covered this in a previous video. Oh, what do you know? Person who crafted it is banned, but guess who still has the item? These guys. There's a concept in U.S. law called the RICO statutes, and I'm not suggesting or trying to equivocate the two things, but the reason why these were made was so in criminal organizations, you had the Don or the mafia boss, right? And then you have, your underboss, and then your capos or your captains and maybe lieutenants, and then your soldiers or whatever, right? And it was always the low-level soldiers that go and kill people, but it's the mafia boss who orders the thing, right? And so Al Capone, for example, they ended up having to send him to jail on tax fraud because they couldn't get him for murder because they couldn't actually connect him to things. So RICO was a way to combat organized crime within things so that, you know, the people who are on the lower levels, if you can connect things, which, as I mentioned, we are very able to do now over dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And also dozens of examples like this and actual instances of in-game bans on, and these are not just random bot accounts and RMT accounts, because those are usually made on throwaway accounts, right? And we could show that through this word bubble and the heat map, but these are actually like the higher level partners and the crafters, right? So if you if you're not talking about people that are making a new account, buying a mirror, transferring it a couple times to wash it, and then it's like a level 2 witch. You're talking about the people who are like their established crafters that have been banned. Now we're going to do some just basic accounting and inductive logic here. How is it that TFT does 5,000 plus mirror services a league, but they don't have a single mirror in standard listed in the top ones? So we're going looking on online and offline. All right. And we've got OWD with 200 mirrors, Screaming Jay with 130, Pastakhan Rumble with 70 mirrors. Where's Janubu? Janubu loves to post 5,000 locks at a time, so it's not like he doesn't. Where are the mirrors? I in one league, when I went back to standard, I had 115 of them there. And it's very obvious that they do stuff on standard because they post about it all the time, how they've done 2,000 services in standard since the league start, etc., etc. Where's the mirrors? Where's the money? Now, let's just go into some basic character testimony or behavioral analysis, so to speak, keeping this on theme with the actual trial thing. Well, we can just look at Reddit for the past week and look at any one of the things to see the many instances in which he, finds one of the people who traded him, goes and finds his sister online, finds out the guy's identity on his Facebook, and then says he's going to go, he says his sister is cute, and then tells him to say hi to his sister with a winky face, and says, if you don't, I will. Not only is this incredibly creepy because the guy says he's 20 years old, so the implications of him potentially sexually insinuating he's going to find a minor, not assuming, but there's a good chance that girl is underage, are very, very creepy. Janu is an old man, or an older man at least. Certainly to the point that that's inappropriate, but the fact that you would go to the extent of finding someone's personal identity, I mean, this is beyond creepy, and it's showing the extent to which he'd be willing to go to kind of silence these things. There's obviously a well-established history of silencing critics on TFT, a well-established history of stifling competition with myself and many other people. They have violently erratic outbursts anytime a competitor creates something that affects the bottom line. And this is one of the things I show in the video. And I demonstrate why bows are such a large part of the mirror market, and I actually give some raw data on that as well through the several, because I've crafted the best Ellie bow in 2 different leagues now, and I have the best Fizz bow in the game. So I have also crafted over 200 mirror items, and I've tracked that data throughout, so I can actually show the distribution of different base types of items, as well as giving you the amount I've made. And in one league, for example, I've never RMT'd before, but after Crucible League, the currency, just from Crucible League, I have made 1,000. In fact, I can actually pull this up. 1 second here, guys. Screen capture props. All right. So if we take a look here, this is the money that I made from just one league. That's 1,110 mirrors. This is just from Crucible League mirror services. I'd also like to remind you guys, I dropped the mirror fee of a bow to 200 divines with Load Thunder, and that was really what started TFT dropping their fees on things. Prior to me crafting Load Thunder, the price of mirror bows was 2 or 3 mirrors as a mirror fee. That was well established by TFT for at least 3 or 4 leagues, and I really think 3 or 4 years. So if I can make 1,110 mirrors, which is approximately $100,000 in 5 months as one person who's not online, and that's only from 14 different mirror items here, right? I have 200 mirror items. So if I were to do RMT, I'd probably be making 200 grand a year, or sorry, 200 grand every half of a year. So around 400 grand a year, just in mirror services. We're talking some major money here, guys. And keep in mind, as I just said, my mirror fee on this was 200 divines. TFT for a very long time before that was charging 2 mirrors or 3 mirrors as a fee. And just to restate this for people who don't understand, I'm not talking about when I say 2 mirrors, I don't mean you give them 2 mirrors. I mean, you have to give them 3. 1 mirror to mirror it and 2 mirrors as the actual fee. So looking at the league right now, we're if I'm talking 400 grand and that fee that I'm talking about is one eighth or 1/10 of what theirs were, and bows represent 80% of the market, you could perhaps understand some scale towards the amount of money we're talking about here. All right, so you'll notice that any time that they've had any one of these erratic, violent outbursts where they're all over the front page of Reddit, guess what they coincide with? The bows, right? What happened this league when this all kind of kicked off? They start banning Kaiba. What did Kaiba do? Free Fizzbo. Last league, the clown emoji incident. What was that in response to? And at everyone because Sushi made a Fizzbo. The previous league, what was this attacks on me starting to correspond with? A Fizzbo, right? And again, if you watch the VOD for the screen, we'll go through all the things that are going down here. Now, the next thing they have is a pattern of ad hominem attacks. They don't actually address any material points. They have an unwillingness to ever defend claims against them materially or provide evidence to the contrary. They have an unwillingness to ever enter public jurisdiction or domain to discuss issues. They have an insular group that is notoriously opaque. They have threatening remarks to those who don't kowtow to them. You've seen this in their things with, calling Dapino a pedophile. Even this situation that has nothing to do with me. It was about them banning the guy who maintains PoE. The community fork of it. If you go look on TFT, their last two defending posts are literally things about how I'm a scammer. This situation had nothing to do with me that's going on right now. And the last two posts that TFT has in terms of like how to defend themselves don't address a single point against them. They're just, hey, Belton's a scammer. It's like, I had nothing to do with this, but whatever. Anyways, they have the threatening remarks on those who don't kowtow. They have a history of blackmail. If you don't, and actually that's what kicked this off. The guy who was, if you don't sell me that which was taken for one mirror and relisting it at 5, we're gonna ban you on TFT. Showcase price, whatever that fucking garbage is. By the way, I've played PoE for 11 years. I've crafted over 200 mirror items, and I am a hideout warrior through and through. I'll dead this issue because I have probably traded more times than any person in the history of this game. Showcase price is not a term. I have never heard a single person, myself, or anyone I've ever traded with use that. So to all you fucking clowns on Twitter or people who are sitting there, milking the little TFT teat, not a real thing. Now, the concept of it, I understand. If I saw somebody with like, a really sick item priced at 6.9696969 mirrors, I wouldn't be like, okay, that guy's actually selling that. I was like, the guy's memeing. But the phrase showcase price, not real thing. Okay, history of blackmail. There we go. And they have obviously a history of monopolization and market manipulation. The market manipulation that I experienced firsthand while crafting Load Thunder. Janubu bought several thousand. I have screenshots of this too. Janubu bought several thousand Sacred Life Force while I was trying to buy them to get the last suffix on my bow. And he was messaging people being like, I'll pay you. The price of them at the time was like 3 divines. They started off at 1 divine, but I was using so many of them that I got the price up to 3 divines, and a lot of people were playing Diablo, so I had a disproportionate impact on the market. Janubu started messaging people saying, hey, I'll buy all of them. Don't sell them to Belton. I'll give you 4 divines each. And so Janubu bought thousands of them, raised the price to 5 divines. And so to kind of troll Janubu, because I thought this would be kind of funny, I made my stream title, Buying All Sacred Life Force, 5 div each. And then I went and had lunch, and I come back, and Janubu had like fucking 4 mirrors of Sacred Life Force. And I was like, all right, guys, I think I'm going to switch to the Exalting method to get our +2 arrow on there. We're not going to use Sacred Life Force anymore. And I made that my stream title, left my stream up, went to bed, and I came back, and the price of Sacred Life Force was like 1.7 div each. And Janubu got stuck with 5,000 of them they paid 4 div for. But I just found that very funny. I don't know if anybody else will, but a little bit of Schadenfreude perhaps. But in any case, yeah, I've experienced it firsthand. I'm sure many of you have as well with not just Janubu, but people on TFT in general, where if you refuse to sell something to them, they'll ban you through blackmail, or they'll go through it. The funny thing is too that one of their major reasons or the claims they make against me is that I stole 2 divs from somebody who was an unsuspecting customer, and yet not only do they do this themselves right now, but they ban people who don't do it. Like, they threaten those people, right? Like, Janubu will find somebody who's underpriced an item, he'll go to buy it, and then if the person doesn't sell it to him, not only is it predatory, where he's going out of his way to find these people, but then if they don't sell it to him, he then tries to blackmail them into saying, if you don't sell this to me, you're screwed from TFT. It's so hypocritical and absurd. It's a little funny to me, but apparently some people don't look past these things, so I thought I'd best to point that out as well. All right, so here's the summary, guys. I'm going to keep this video under 25 minutes, hopefully, so let's get to the end of it. A further 3-hour, 2.5-hour, 3-hour dive, as I mentioned, is going to be linked below. We're going to go through the full crimes of TFT in that video I mentioned yesterday. That can be viewed from the VOD. It starts around the 2-hour mark, which will be linked below. Yep, explaining the relationships, showing how that data was collected, as well as the person who collected it, because I'm not very good with computers, so there's transparency there, and he'll show how that was done. Providing context for the data, which I'll be doing, demonstrating the financial upshot of this with relevant data from the mirror market that I have collected that is not widely known. The preponderance of evidence in this case, and this is a very, very important point, all right, guys, the preponderance of evidence in the case against TFT exceeds the standard of proof in most murder trials. Meaning, if you were to tangentially take the amount of evidence that exists in this case, and you were to present it to a jury of your peers, in the vast majority of circumstances, that person would be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The standard of proof exists for that, I believe, in most murder trials. If you find yourself demanding bank statements for people to go and hack Janubu's bank statements to show that he did this before you're convinced of their guilt, the fault is not at this point likely in the totality of the evidence, but in your expectations and just perhaps in you. If you are willing to sit there defending a video game Discord server more than you would the guilt of a murderer, I think that perhaps it's time for some introspection, and that's the case I've got before you guys. I'll now let the jury deliberate. I hope you guys come to the same conclusion I did. I know that there's a lot of things going on with TFT right now, and I'm super excited to see on the top of the Reddit today that somebody has made a new bulk selling tool, PoE Wealthy Exiles, I think it was. And that's fantastic, and let's keep this movement going, and hopefully we can, if GGG is not going to act simply on the fact that, those guys are being mean and rude to each other, I think this is 100% against TOS, beyond the standard of the standard of proof, and I think beyond a reasonable doubt. I hope you agree with me. Let me know your thoughts below. Check out the VOD if you want. I'm taking some time off from the game. I definitely need to go touch some grass. This has been a very tough time for me for the past year and a half, at the hands largely of TFT, having been called a liar and blah, 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 and having my name dragged through the mud. And as I mentioned, I had a little bit of it was just a cathartic moment for me yesterday to have over 1,000 people be there and be like, holy shit, he wasn't lying. I just got a little overwhelmed, and I'm going to take a couple days to touch the old proverbial grass and let the community do what it does. At the end of the day, the trading in this game and the crafting in this game, the items in the game, they belong to the community themselves. My goal is not here to topple an autocrat just to install another one. I have no interest in running a TFT server because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I'm happy to support anyone and any one of their efforts. I'm happy to be involved in the community. I'm happy to endorse, co-sign, and support in any way I can, and do anything that I can to help that software be there. But I won't be the person in charge, because I don't think any one person should have that responsibility and should have that power. All right, guys, Belton out. Godspeed. God bless. Love y'all.